Testing, 1, 2. Testing, testing. Testing, 1, 2. Testing, testing. Testing, 1, 2. Okay, David, if you can see that, I've posted the link in chat. Hello, Eddie. Welcome, welcome. This is an impromptu live stream. Nice to see you here. It's been a while since AGK did a live stream. David, if you're watching, the link is out. Click on that and come on in. Got you. Hello, hello.
Hello, sir. Can you hear
There we
me?
go. Yes, I hear you. Can you hear
All
me?
right. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Welcome. You're currently driving. Where are you driving to, Eddie? I don't know how many people will actually be watching this because it has been a while since both David and I have appeared on YouTube. So, but the stream will be here for posterity.
Well, I'm sure people will watch it on the replay.
Exactly, on the replay.
Yeah. I haven't done much either, so on YouTube
I
lately.
know I have a video I've been meaning to do. I just have had no time.
So you're on Twitch and what else? Steam?
I'm on Twitch and Kick all the time
Kick.
streaming. So, but that's a whole different thing. I'm not going to get into it here. This is for music. What I stream now is completely different, so we're not even going to talk.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
It's more gaming. It's gaming and stuff.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Those that are watching, welcome in. David and I decided to do a live stream because we've lost some greats this week. It's been a crazy week in the music industry. Not just the music industry, but the acting industry and the wrestling industries. There is at least 5 people that have passed away this week already, which is absolutely crazy. All fairly famous people. Some legends, some absolute legends have all passed away this week. So we thought we'd talk about them rather than I thought about doing a video and David thought about doing a video. But we just were talking and we said, you know what, let's just have a live discussion instead.
Yeah.
Than filming a video thing. Let's just ad lib it and go from the heart and talk about what's happened in the world as far as music and acting and things go.
Yeah, definitely.
Expect one, Captain Spaulding. Expect one more. All things happen in 3. No, we've already had 3 musicians. We've already had 3 musicians this week, and I will list them all. And some of you probably don't realize it. I mean, I like Ozzy. Sure, I liked Ozzy. Who didn't like Ozzy? But that's not the main reason we did. David and I decided to do this stream because somebody else passed away the same day as Ozzy Osbourne. There was a second passing that they held off announcing, mainly because of Ozzy's passing was such big news that they just sort of held off for 24 hours to announce it. And they announced it the next day. But the same day that Ozzy Osbourne passed away, George Coyman's leader, founder, lead guitarist, vocalist for Golden Earring passed away on the same day as Ozzy Osbourne, which of course everybody knows. For David and I, Golden Earring is my favorite band. So we were pretty gutted at the news of the passing of George Coymans, who passed away from complications from his ALS disease. So on the day that Ozzy Osbourne died, we also lost George Coymans, guitarist, vocalist of Golden Earring. And then, of course, we lost Chuck Mangione yesterday. So three big legendary musicians gone in the period of 2 days. And then we also lost Hulk Hogan yesterday. We
Yes.
also lost Hulk Hogan. So it's insane. It's insane what's happened.
They
Yeah, so
come.
most people probably didn't know George Coy. Like I said, unless you're a huge Golden Earring fan, because of the Ozzy news, the George news was kind of passed over, and only true, fans of Golden Earring like David and myself found out about the news. So yeah, it's truly, truly sad. Yeah, and Theo from the Cosby Show. Yeah, exactly. A famous, I can't remember her whole name. Maybe you know her, Captain Spaulding, but a famous chef that my daughter actually watches from the Food Network, a very famous chef. I think it's Ann somebody. She's a famous chef on the Food Network, and she also judges these food competitions. She killed herself yesterday as well. So what the heck is, yeah, that's it. Anne Burrell. Yeah, what the heck is going on? We lost her yesterday, Hulk Hogan yesterday, Chuck Mangione yesterday, and then George Coymans and Ozzy Osbourne on Tuesday. What is going on in the world? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's
Yeah, and
crazy.
not that long ago, we lost Mike Peters, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And about a month ago, we lost Mike Peters, leader and founder of The Alarm, which everybody knows. David and I both are big fans of the group The Alarm. I was supposed to see The Alarm for the first time in my life a year ago. A year ago, they were coming to Toronto, and it was like they were a bucket list band for me. And I was like, oh, finally, I get to see The Alarm. I've collected The Alarm since day one. And I was finally going to go see The Alarm. And the day before the concert here in Toronto, Mike Peter announced he had cancer and canceled the tour the day before.
Wow.
And so yeah, that tour never came to be, and we lost Mike Peters in June. And who knows who else we've lost? It's crazy. It's crazy. So, Dave, your thoughts. Let's hear Dave's thoughts. I've been doing all the talking here. Let's hear Dave's thoughts on all of this madness.
Well, Ozzy is one thing. That's a whole other thing. But George, for me, and I'm sure for you, is a bigger loss because it's kind of like with Golden Earring. If you're in North America, I guess it's kind of like you're fighting for the underdog. You kind of feel more
Mm-hmm.
attached to the band, if you
Mm-hmm.
know what
For
I mean.
sure.
And then,
Yeah, absolutely.
but everyone loved Ozzy, so that's one thing, and that's a huge loss. But then, if you're so it's like you will attest to how hard we've or lengths we've gone to fight to get their record store day titles and their albums in general, and it's kind of lends a little bit more um just a little bit more sadness to you feel a little bit more attached to the band, I guess. I
Yeah,
did
because
anyways. And
yeah, exactly. Music
so
on
for me, that
vinyl.
one, George, losing George was just, he was sick, but I mean, ALS, and
It's
plus
a tough way to go. That is a
I mean,
tough way to go.
being in Canada and not in the Netherlands, we don't hear news about them a whole lot. And then this comes up, and then your favorite band that's been together in its original form for 50 plus years is gone, you know. And
Exactly.
it's one of those things that's kind of like Golden Earring. You could always trust them to be there, you know.
Yeah, even when they announced their retirement in 21, it was just that was a sucker punch in the gut too. It was just like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. But they were all alive. The possibility was always there of them doing something, and that's not there anymore. And I've been into golden earrings since '82. I think it was '82,
Yeah,
'83.
and I
That's a
discovered golden earring in '73 when the Canadian version of Mutan came out, and
yeah.
it's probably my single favorite album of all time, always will be.
And
So it's just
in my mind, as much as 1983 seems like yesterday, that's a long time ago. That's a long time to be following a band,
it
you
is, it
know,
is, it
and
is.
be collecting and just being so, you know, invested in I can't even tell you how many nights of just, when you're a lone teenager or in your 20s, and Golden Earring was just always there for me,
Same, same.
rocking those cassette tapes, all night. So yeah, it's been, and Hulk Hogan, obviously, that's kind of a thing of my youth as well. But
Exactly. Yeah, Hulk Hogan got me into wrestling. I mean, I watch wrestling with my daughter. My daughter's heavily into wrestling now. She loves it. But yeah, it goes back. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. That's what got me into wrestling.
yeah,
That was my gateway. And I went to WrestleMania 4 here in Toronto at the Sky Dome and watched Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. And that was like crazy, crazy, crazy spectacle. I'd
to
never
say
seen
you were
anything
there
like
for that
that.
one, that's amazing. Like, people would have killed to see that live.
Yeah, I've showed the program before on a live stream. I have to dig it up again, but I actually have the original souvenir program from that WrestleMania
Wow.
somewhere in this mess is the original program
And
from that night.
for the longest time, that
And they
wasn't
go for
that the
big money. They go for big. If I put that program on eBay, would go for big money.
yeah. And I think, wasn't that for the longest time the largest indoor crowd for a WWE or WWF event
Yeah,
for
the Sky Dome, the original
the
Sky
longest
Dome, that
time?
WrestleMania 4, yeah, it was like 51,000 people or something,
Yeah,
which set a record at its time for
yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
WW It was WWF back then, and they hadn't really, they were just taking off. They don't. It
yeah,
was only, it was only the fourth WrestleMania, so
yeah,
it still was pretty niche. Um, but I mean, you had all the classics back, Andre and Randy Macho Man and Jake the Snake Roberts and all those guys.
yeah,
They were legends. Ric Flair.
yeah. It's kind of, I mean, it's kind of cliche to say, but isn't it? It's kind of, you feel like all your icons are dying, you know, but that is, as much as I feel 18, your age is kind of really comes into focus now. We're losing all of our heroes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of them are going to come fast and heavy. I think over the next few years.
Next couple years, yeah. I
And
mean,
look what happened this week with bang, 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 bang. Yeah, just
yeah.
like wow.
So I
But
mean,
they were all kind of, I would think, before their time. I mean, Hulk Hogan was 71. Not surprising because Hulk had previous problems, and we all know that bodybuilders like Hulk, they don't live a. That's the drawback of being a bodybuilder, is it's hard on your heart, and most
yeah,
bodybuilders end up going from a heart attack, which I gather is what happened to Hulk. But yeah, there, maybe bodybuilding is not a healthy healthy career choice if you
yeah.
want to live to an old age. But I mean, George was 77, Ozzy 76. Mike Peters, I can't remember what age he was, but he was still pretty young too.
He must
I
have
think,
been what, 62?
yeah, he was. I'd say I was going to guess in his 60s.
Yeah,
I mean, and Chuck Mangione, he was the oldest at 83. That's kind of the age you expect people to go. I think right now the current norm age for males is around 83, 84.
yeah.
I think that is the average male life expectancy right now.
You know what?
So
What I think a lot of people maybe, maybe they do know how big Chuck Mangione was in the '70s. Like, he sold millions of records. That guy.
yeah, I mean,
So
I don't know what he did after the 70s. I'm sure he continued around, but of course, obviously, "Feels So Good" was legendary, and
I'm sure he could have toured around and did pretty well for himself, right?
they said
Until
that the news article I heard yesterday was that he'd actually completely retired 10 years ago. Um,
okay,
but I
it,
mean,
I mean,
George was still active right up till 2023, even though Golden Earring disbanded in 2021 after his diagnosis. George released a fantastic album uh, with Frank Carrillo.
yeah,
Mirage. I love that album. I absolutely love that album. That album came out in 2022.
yeah,
Solo album. I absolutely adore that album. It's a fantastic
yeah,
album. And then apparently Golden Earring reunited for a benefit concert in the Netherlands only in 2023. That I just found out about that yesterday. It came out with the whole news of George's passing, but they apparently did a benefit concert in 2023, a one-off show, which I hope that they recorded and we will be seeing on vinyl, CD, and whatnot.
yeah.
Video too, please, would be nice.
That'd be
Which
nice.
apparently is George's last performance.
See, like once
And
again, we're just finding that out. So that tells you, imagine without the internet, it would have took us who knows how long to know that they did that benefit concert.
well, it's like, yeah, without the internet, because I didn't even know, like back in the day, um, before the internet, for me, Golden Earring was Moontan, Switch, the albums from Moontan up to I guess the whole, because their early albums never saw our shore. I think I once saw like 8 Miles High in a record store that came and went.
Yeah,
Uh, most of their early albums and later albums never even saw our record stores. It was the stuff from like the early 70s to mid 80s. That was the only stuff that ever appeared here in our record stores,
I mean,
via the vinyl or CD. The rest of their catalog that went all through the 90s and 2000s and 2010s, it never showed up here in record stores. Their 60s stuff never showed up here in record stores. There's a lot of records that I didn't even know existed until the internet.
yeah, exactly. And it took me going to Europe a few times to get some of these records. So
Exactly.
obviously, Cut was in the store. You know, News was in the stores. Hole kind of had a small release, but then after the Hole, I think Bloody Buccaneers appeared in our stores, but
I
nothing.
think I vaguely remember Bloody Buccaneers in the stores on CD, and I
Yeah,
never got it. And I maybe saw it once, once or twice in a store, and I never got it, and then it disappeared.
yeah,
I know that Keeper of the Flame was only ever released in the Netherlands.
yeah.
If you look at the listings for it, it was only ever released in the Netherlands. Second Live was only ever released in the Netherlands, and even Prisoner of the Night was limitedly released in the USA under Long Blonde Animal. It never
Yeah.
even got released here in Canada. Um,
And you know
and then
what?
everything after that, Face It, all those other albums,
Yeah,
Paradise in Distress, those albums never even saw all the Naked albums.
yeah.
I never saw any of those here in the
You know
stores
what?
ever.
You and I should thank whoever that music on vinyl exists because they've actually made these albums readily available to us, and a lot of
Exactly.
other bands too. But without music on vinyl, some of their first releases were golden earring albums. So
Exactly. And now music on vinyl, and they've remastered them all. And honestly, anybody that's watching the music on vinyl pressings, in my opinion, beat the OG pressings in sound quality.
oh
They
yeah,
really, really do. They are amazing pressings. My collection of Golden Earring, even though I still have some on my OG stuff, I have re- not replaced but duplicated them. And Music on Vinyl now has released their entire catalog except two albums, and
except which one?
two albums only now to go for Music on Vinyl. I have the entire Golden Earring catalog on Music
What's
on
the
Vinyl now, except
what's
for
the what's the two
no
that are
no
missing?
no promises, no debts,
Oh yeah.
and Second Life.
Oh. Hang on here.
That's it. That's the only two missing now from the Music on Vinyl catalog.
No Promises, No Debts. I love that album, by the way. No Promises, No Debts.
And that was the and that's the Canadian cover, the horrible Canadian cover. Yeah, that the backside was the original cover.
You know, they always thought they had to put the band on the cover to get them known, you know, in North America, but thank the Lord for music on vinyl because and honestly, as I get a music on vinyl pressing of one of their records, I kind of put the originals aside because I don't need duplicates, and the music on vinyl versions are so much better.
Exactly. I
And
mean, I won't ever get rid of my originals just because they have sentimental value to me. But the ones I play are the music on vinyl ones. There's no
oh
question.
yeah, they're so good, and because they're the company's from the Netherlands, I'm sure they have the original tapes at their
Well,
disposal.
exactly. That what was it? 2 years ago, they found all the original tapes in a vault, and they
Yeah,
have been remastering them. They remastered. They've remastered what Moontan now. They've remastered Cut, the News. They've all had remasters and have released, of course, all the additional outtakes and whatnot on these albums, like this year's Record Store Day, which had two full LPs worth of rough mixes and outtakes and whatnot from the News recordings,
yeah,
the
it,
Moontan recordings. Even the second live, even the first live album was all remastered with all the songs were released that were originally cut and not included on that album
yeah, and
finally released,
we
which is
haven't
actually
even
right there. It's actually right there. So that's the Record Store Day. Let me grab that. All right, there's the Record Store Day 10-inch. Um, 10-inch. The rest of the live album was released from live. This is the 10-inch with the additional tracks that were never included on the original live album. So
I have a sealed 8 track for that right here.
yeah, Fighting Windmills, I Need Love, 8 Miles High, the full version, and Radar Love, uh, another version of that. So
That version of 8 Miles High on there is so good.
on
I
this
was
10
listening to
inch,
that.
on this 10-inch, yeah.
I was listening to that in my car yesterday. That one, and honestly, and we're not even mentioning the CD reissues that have been coming out with the bonus DVDs and bonus discs and
Exactly.
stuff.
Some fantastic archival footage on all these bonus ones. I just picked up the news one not too long ago and the cut one.
Yeah,
Uh,
you know, and
so they've been released. And I
I
am just waiting to see what's next. I hope obviously they've got a wealth of tapes and now and we all know with George's passing
yeah,
they're gonna milk it, unfortunately. I mean it's good for us. We get to get more stuff.
yeah,
Music on vinyl seems to be pretty consistent the last few years. Like I'd say every 3 or 4 months we see another golden earring release. That seems to be the spacing that they're doing.
yeah,
So I would expect
definitely.
to see
We
something else soon again. I hope to see. Bro, No Promises, No Debts, and Second Life need to be done. And I'm sure they will get done. They've obviously acquired the entire catalog.
yeah, I'm not sure why that hasn't been done yet, but um, Second Live and No Promises, No Debt. Those are too good of albums not to be reissued. And and honestly, you were just mentioning the live one. This one is I was listening to that in the car yesterday, and George is just he is so underrated. That guy,
He
he
was a
could
brilliant freaking guitarist.
he he
You
could
know,
just do those extended jams like 8 Miles High, like nobody else. That guy, amazing songwriter.
grabbing some records here. You can keep going while I grab. Yeah, like even if you go with this one right here, um, We Love You, which is the final performance of Golden Earring in November of 2019,
Yeah,
right before the pandemic hit. They were supposed to go on a world tour. They were supposed to go on a world tour in 2020, and this was supposed to be the first concert of a world tour.
yeah,
a world tour that never happened because we went into a pandemic, and then a year later, George found out that he had the ALS, and they disbanded. But this was supposed to be the beginning of a world tour. It's their last performance ever, until supposedly this benefit thing. So hopefully that comes out.
And the thing
Um,
is, they so rarely
and
played
you
out.
listen to this, and they sound amazing. This is a spectacular live album. It truly is. George, everybody, Barry's vocals are on point. George's vocals are on point. The whole band is on point. It's one of their best performances ever. It
Yeah,
truly is.
they were in their they had to have been in their 70s then at
Exactly. And
that
they're in their
point.
70s here, and they just, you could tell these guys were seasoned musicians.
Oh yeah, and the sad thing is that they so rarely played outside of Europe,
Yeah, I
and
mean they every year, pretty much every year they played in the Netherlands right up to 2019. It was kind of like a yearly thing they would do there. They
yeah,
they would fill whatever stadium
yeah,
or
yeah,
venue they had. They were selling out big time still.
yeah, absolutely.
And hello, Doc K. Welcome in, Doc K. Welcome in. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Doc. And nice to see Eddie. It's nice to see Captain Spaulding. Nice to see you guys. Been a long time. It's been a long time, but we're here, just discussing what's going on in the music world with Golden Earring and Ozzy Osbourne, Mike Peters from the Alarm. It's been a crazy week.
I mean, I'm not sure what more can be said about Ozzy. I mean, that was just so beautiful that 2 weeks later after that show that it's kind of like his last goodbye, and it really was.
Yeah, and there's a lot of speculation, and I think we are going to find out. I am betting, because a lot of people are thinking the same thing, that everything was just. It feels very orchestrated. That final concert, him doing the last song he did in that final concert, basically saying goodbye. We all knew there was a video that I saw uh, this afternoon when I was having my lunch of that talked about that performance, and they showed some behind the scenes footage of
Yeah,
him getting wheeled out onto the stage in the chair, how difficult it was for him to stand in that performance, how much pain he was in during that performance. He was in a massive amount of pain. That chair was designed for him for that performance. Everything about it was very orchestrated.
yeah,
And I just think, and a lot of people are saying this, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think we are going to hear that Ozzy went out on his own terms. I think he probably had had enough. Hence why the final concert, and then by coincidence, just 3 weeks later, he's gone. I think he probably decided it was time to pull the plug on himself,
yeah.
and we probably had assisted. We won't say the word because it's a no on YouTube to say that word, but I think he went out. I think Ozzy went out on his own terms.
It kind of all adds up and makes sense, doesn't
And it
it?
makes sense. The final concert, everything that led up to Tuesday makes sense, and I think
And you
he
know
had
what?
said it's time to say goodbye.
And you know what? Good for him. You know, I would love to go out on my own terms,
I hope
and
that's how he did go out. I'd hate to think that he went out in massive pain or something like that, but I don't
yeah,
think so. I think he just went to sleep and that was it. With his family there. Uh, Knowing Ozzy, I could see that would be how he would want it.
I mean, once you take away the ability to sing and do albums and do concerts, what else was there for him? Unless that was his life. You
I
know?
think we may hear the same thing happen, unfortunately, to Bruce Willis very soon. I think we're going to hear the same thing happen to Bruce Willis
Yeah,
because
that's just
that was in the news the other day that he can't walk, he
yeah,
can't talk, he
yeah.
can't feed himself. He's kind of lost, and just recently has lost all his functions now. So,
It's
um,
so messed up, that
yeah,
disease.
Mr. Die Hard. You just don't think of him like that. You think of John McClane. Beating up the bad guys. Like
It's I mean, I've not seen any photos. of him if there is any, but I just would rather not see him in that condition because
No, same. I agree. I
Don
want to
McLean, you
remember.
know, like
I watch Die Hard all the time. Whenever it's passing by on TV, I'll always stop and watch it for a
oh yeah,
while. It's just one of those movies, that whole Die Hard series. So
yeah,
yeah, you don't want to see
absolutely.
your heroes. You don't want even seeing some photos just because of the whole Ozzy thing has been in the news. There's been some pictures of Ozzy's where he just looks like hell, and I really kind of don't want to see those pictures of Ozzy. I want to see him in
Oh,
his glory,
it's so
not in you know
it's so deflating to see him like that.
exactly. I've seen no
Honestly,
pictures of George at all. I've seen no pictures so far of George.
no,
I,
and
I, I hope that George went peacefully because ALS is horrible. How you go from ALS, you pretty much suffocate at some point. It's
yeah,
pretty drastic. So I hope that George just went peacefully.
I mean, that's
Um,
definitely one of the most nasty diseases you can get
it
if you're
absolutely
an
is.
active person. You know, you're used to being an active person. Doesn't matter musician or not. Just to have that taken away from you, Jesus. I mean, I would wish to go out on my own terms if I had that disease. That'd be terrible. So, but as far as George goes, um, I don't think this will. Maybe some people. This might cause some people to dip into their catalog a bit, but
They really should. They really should
they really
because
should. It's so varied. You
we,
know, they got the
we
six.
yeah, and David and I have been huge champions of Golden Earring for the last 5 years that I've been on YouTube doing my channel, trying to get the word out about this band. And there are some we've met some big lovers in the community of Golden Earring, but there's just not enough. They were so poorly promoted in North America, especially the US. I think Canada actually got better promotion of their music than the US did. The US just got zero promotion. I mean, I ask anybody I know that resides in North America, and they a little bit more in Canada, but anybody that I've met from the US, they all say the same thing. Radar Love and Twilight Zone, did they do anything else? Was that
Yeah,
like, and we're talking 26 studio albums, like 9 live albums. It's a serious catalog of music, multiple 7-inch singles of material that was never released on any album.
yeah.
Uh, Over 20 top 10 hits in the Netherlands. What did we have? Two in North America. Over 20 in the Netherlands, top 10 hits.
That's that's so sad that people. I mean, I think it's just down to promotion, obviously, but
It was totally. I mean, they toured with the greats. They toured with the Stones. They toured with Zeppelin. They toured with the Who. They toured with the big guns before they were well known and headlining on their own. They toured with all the big guns, and people don't even realize that.
did you see? Did you see that? I'm not sure if it was a Facebook message or what from Steve Harris from Iron Maiden yesterday.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I'll send it to you. But it was like it's from Iron Maiden's official account, and it said as a lot of you might know, Steve Harris was a massive Golden Earring fan, and it's a picture of him and George, and you know Steve just wants to know how upset he was over him passing, and for Iron Maiden to do that, that's pretty. I mean, what does that tell you if Steve Harris?
Exactly. Yeah, I did see a couple things on Instagram from some other artists posing with George. Some selfies with him with some other artists that posted George on Instagram. But we all know that, of course, Iron Maiden did a cover of Ce Soir
Yeah,
back on a 12-inch, which I do have in my collection. The Iron Maiden cover of "Kill Me Ce Soir," which was from the Switch album by Golden Earring, and they do a
yeah,
fantastic cover of it, an absolutely fantastic cover.
absolutely. So, I mean, what a shitty week. you
It
know,
has been. It has been like I was. My daughter came in and she goes on Tuesday. She goes, "Dad, have you heard the news?" And I go, "No, what?" And right when she said that, I flipped on the TV because she just kind of looked at me and she goes, "Dad, have you heard the news?" I go, no. She goes, and I think she was about to say something, so I flipped on the TV to the 24, to CP24, our 24-hour news station, and sure enough, the second I flipped it on, Ozzy Osbourne passed away. Like it was just right there. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? And then, the next day, of course, the next day, I wake up to David, and I'm just looking at my phone, and I see instant. That's just where I saw it first. I saw a picture of George with somebody on Instagram, and it said "Rest in peace." I'm like, what? And I quickly Googled, and sure enough, George. And then I messaged Dave, who had found out the night before that George had passed. And it was just, how did I wake up on yesterday morning to the news of George?
Yeah, my friend Tom texted me um the announcement of George, and you know, I had just started work and I was like, oh my God, you know. So that was, I mean, at least the news got some coverage here, I guess. If
Hmm,
there's
hmm.
any upside to it, at least, there were people reporting on it. But
And
unfortunately,
Philosophical Sounds, thanks. Great chat, guys. Music on Vinyl does a great job, and they are very consistent. That is correct. I have the Clash hits back and Blind Melon's first album reissues, and they are awesome. And Richard James is in. You cried to what, Richard James? You cried to for Ozzy or Gold? Who did you cry for? Um, For Ozzy, I'm assuming it's for Ozzy because I know you're in the UK. I believe you're in the UK, are you not, Richard? You're in the UK. Yeah, crazy freaking week. Crazy freaking week.
it's
Hulk
funny. I was
Hogan
listening.
for a Hulk Hogan. Yeah, what Hulk Hogan? I know, huh? Hulk Hogan. Like I'm just like, who's next? Are we gonna get through the? Are we gonna make it through to Sunday? Get through the rest of this week, but without somebody else kicking the
I think
bucket,
that's what it
please?
is. Is make just let's hang on for Sunday night because this week has been absolutely terrible. All the deaths are something that's affected a lot of us, all three of them. It's just like one after another.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, yeah, and Mike Peters in June, I was still reeling from that, going, well, I mean, I knew Mike Peters was going downhill. We all knew he was going
Yeah,
downhill. And as I was saying to David before stream, Mike Peters of The Alarm, they recorded an album while he was taking his cancer treatments. And some of the album was actually even recorded in a hospital. In the hospital, they'd set up a studio in the hospital so that he could record there. And if you watch the lead off single from that Alarm album, it is a freaking fantastic song. And he's actually, the music video is taking place in a hospital room, in like an
yeah,
operating room or whatever.
yeah,
And the LP cover, which is quite striking, is what do they call it? A CT scan or MRI or whatever, a
yeah.
CT scan of
Of
Mike
his,
Peters' body, and it's on the cover of the album, and it's a scan of his body, like an X-ray thing, and it shows all the cancer in his body, and that is the album artwork, and that is freaking crazy.
and he was like diagnosed cancer free at least a couple times.
Yeah, it wasn't his first, it wasn't his first rodeo with cancer.
Well, and the
But yeah,
alarm.
I'm excited for the album because what I've heard from it, it sounds really, could be some of the best stuff that he's done in a long time. And as I told David, when I heard the album was coming out, I pre-ordered. And you might even still be able to get a copy, David, if you go to the Alarm website. There was, they put pre-orders up for different variations. There was, I think, a gold and a silver version, and then the black vinyl. And Mike Peters, and they were limited to, I think it was 300 copies of each or something like that, signed by Mike Peters. And Mike Peters actually signed the albums 3 days before he passed away, and he actually posted something on Instagram the day before he passed away.
Yeah,
He was literally knew he was about to pass away, and he made a post right before he passed away. He knew he was about to pass. He signed those albums 3 days before he passed away. So I'm just waiting for it to be shipped, and it's going to be very bittersweet when that arrives at my front door to see his signature on that album. My first signed album by the Alarm, signed 3 days before he passed away. It's just, it boggles my mind.
You know what I recommend? There's a couple really good concerts on YouTube. I think one was an MTV event in on at UCLA outside, and there must have been 15,000 people there. It's the the power they had as a live band in that original configuration was absolutely insane. I urge anyone to watch any early live concerts, which are all readily available on YouTube.
Yeah,
They're,
thank God
they're
for YouTube. I mean, that's how I've seen so many great Golden Earring concerts is on YouTube. In fact, I just saved another one, a Winterland performance that popped up in my recommended list of Golden Earring that I have not watched yet. That I know I haven't seen before on YouTube.
that
That
one's
popped up.
yeah, that one's really good. That's a
Philosophical Sounds says, let's hear. Let's see. Let's go back here. So Richard James says, I heard a rumor next is Yoko. I don't know if it's true or not. Philosophical Sound says, I keep thinking something is going on with Jeff Lynne. I don't think that he's in good shape to
yeah,
cancel his last ever show.
yeah. He canceled their last show at was it Wembley or the O2? I think it was the O2.
Mm.
But yeah, so I think Jeff Lynne is not doing too well as
Yeah, and
well.
Richard James, I think this may be the worst year so far for the death of legendary musicians. Yeah, I mean, we're talking, Ozzy Osbourne, and to me, and I was, my daughter and I have been talking about it. My daughter knows who Ozzy was, and my daughter is very much into metal and stuff now. So, she appreciates Ozzy and Black Sabbath, and she's like, even my daughter's what, 19, but she has the ability to appreciate artists like Black Sabbath, and she was saying like Dad, like Ozzy Osbourne invented metal, right? And I'm going, yeah, he kind of did. She goes, he was like, he's as big as the Beatles. This is my daughter, my 19-year-old daughter. He goes, he's as big as the Beatles. And in a way, let's be real, Ozzy was probably equally as big as John Lennon or any of those guys, because if it wasn't for Ozzy, we wouldn't have all these metal bands that we have. Let's be real. He did invent a genre. Black Sabbath invented a genre
And
called
Sabbath
heavy metal. So
Sabbath will go on for decades and decades and decades. People will still be listening to Sabbath.
exactly, exactly. He is as
So
every bit relevant in the music world as the Beatles were, as far as influencing music, for
yeah.
sure, for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So and like I said, if Jeff Lynne goes, that's I mean not to be morbid, but that would be a horrible loss. ELO is so insanely great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big ELO guy. I love ELO.
Yeah, I
I
know you are.
followed
Yeah,
them all. I saw them in 2000. What was it, 2017 or 18? I saw ELO, and they
yeah,
were every bit as good as they ever were. It was a
yeah.
fantastic show. Fantastic show.
But that just goes to what we were talking about. All of our heroes are in the next few years. A lot of our
Yeah,
heroes.
and unfortunately, they're going to come fast, a lot faster. I mean, they've been sporadic over the last few years, but I think it's just every year that goes by, we're going to see more and more and more
Yeah.
each and every year,
So
which is sad. It's sad, but it makes me
and
feel old when I see this stuff happening. It really
when
makes me feel old.
I think this week is kind of like a tester for how we're going to be feeling in the next few years. Once age has taken a lot of our. I mean, and thing is, for people like you and I, and a lot of other people, but like Golden Earring, they were on the Alarm. They were mainstream for a short time, but after
Yeah,
that, you had to be a big fan to follow them. So it's like I was saying earlier, it's kind of like you feel a little bit more ownership over those bands. You feel more
exactly.
invested.
I feel, yeah, and I was always and I've said this many times before on my in my YouTube videos and on live streams. I was always the kid, and when I in my teens, and even to this day, that bought the underdog artists. I was always the guy at parties that brought golden earring. Nobody else had golden earring. You know what I mean? And people loved the music I would play at parties and bring with me. Things like, Thin Lizzy was even, people, Thin Lizzy had the same sort of effect. There was a couple, everybody goes, Thin Lizzy, boys are back in town. And what else did they do? Yeah, they had fantastic. Phil Lynott also big for me. When he died, I cried. Like, I always championed what I would call the underappreciated artists in North America.
Yeah,
Bebop Deluxe, Bill Nelson's Bebop Deluxe. I loved that band. I mean, they only made 5 albums, but I absolutely loved Bebop Deluxe, and nobody I knew cared about Bebop Deluxe. I was always going after these. I guess it's because when I went to people's houses, they all had the Zeppelin and the Who and the Beatles, and that they all had the same shit. And I would hear so much of it. I would always have this thirst to hear other stuff. You know what I mean? Stuff that wasn't being played like crazy on the radio. I also had a thirst for other stuff, and that's what Golden Earring brought to me. It was a band that felt kind of like my personal band. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It wasn't everybody's band like Zeppelin is. Everybody talking about it. It was kind of like my band. I didn't know anybody else until I met Dave. Dave is the first person met in my entire life that had the same passion for the band as I did.
Yeah, vice versa. You're the
And
first.
that's how our friendship formed, is to finally meet fellow golden earring heads.
Yeah, and
And
you're the first person I ever met. That knew anything about them other than the two hits.
exactly.
So
And
that was
so
nice.
and we've got a great friendship now because of that band. So I mean, that band obviously has made their mark in history. It brought two people from other sides of the country together to share the passion. And I
Yeah,
just wish more people would delve into their library. They were a band that constantly evolved. I mean, they started out. You listen to the first Golden Earring album, Just Earrings. They were doing the Beatles. They were doing what the Beatles did. They were
yeah,
modeling themselves after the Beatles. It was all beat bop music. It was very Beatlesque,
yeah,
early Stones, mostly Beatlesque. They did that for a couple albums. Then they went to Psych, and they did Psych for a few albums, and they did some great Psych. And then they sort of transitioned to from Psych to I guess prog rock, and they were prog rock
Prague.
for the early part of the 70s, and then they just went straight up rock, and then they were almost new wavy with Twilight Zone and those albums. They were almost new wavy. They always evolved with the times. They never kept their sound the same, and then in the 90s 2000s they kind of had their sound,
You know,
but they never got stale. They never got repetitive. Like, and I'll be real, I mean, I like ACDC, but you have one AC/DC Brian Johnson album, you got them all because they all sound exactly
oh
the
yeah,
same. Where Golden Earring never sounded the same. They constantly evolved, kept their music relevant to what was playing at the time of release.
I just randomly pulled two records which will actually speak to what you're saying. You had this band, and then you had that band. Totally different
Which one is
looking,
that? Oh, yeah, yeah,
style,
yeah. Exactly.
everything. So I mean, they could do everything and they could do everything very well. I even think they did the unplugged thing better than anyone else.
I think they did the unplugged thing better than I. The only other band that I've heard unplugged that I really liked, and I wish it would be remastered and released on vinyl because you can't even find the CDs anymore, is the Scorpions Berliner album, the Scorpions Unplugged albums. I've got the Acoustica. They did another one, but the Scorpions also did an album with the Berliner Philharmonic Orchestra, which
Yeah,
is freaking brilliant, and it's never been re-released since its original CD. A-
no,
And and but yeah, Golden Earring freaking killed it as they killed it as an acoustic act. Absolutely killed it.
I think their first Naked album. I may be wrong, but I think that may have predated the Unplugged series.
Yeah,
Although
it was pretty early in the 90s. It was pretty
they were
early
two
in the
separate
90s.
things, obviously, but I honestly think that they pr- they did that acoustic thing before MTV did their unplugged thing, which will show you kind of how far ahead of the curve they were on that one. But
Yeah, and I mean, it obviously did very well for them. Obviously, not here in North America, but it obviously sold enough in Netherlands and Europe because they were big all over Europe, and not
yeah,
just the Netherlands. They were popular in Germany and Belgium and all those places. Um, Obviously, the Naked album was very, very successful for them because it did spawn two more Naked albums. They did, they wouldn't have kept doing Naked albums if they weren't successful, and they did three Naked albums, and
yeah.
every one of them was fantastic.
There's some versions of on their naked albums that I prefer acoustically than the studio versions.
Yeah, I know what
They,
you're saying. I know what you're saying. They
those
just
versions were
work
so
better.
good.
Yeah, things like Another 45 Miles works
Yes.
so good as an acoustic song. It really does.
Oh man, there's Buddy Joe. There's so many other
Buddy
great.
Joe, going for the one. I
That's a
mean,
good one.
I
Yeah,
heard that yesterday and I thought of George because going for the run, um, going for the run was a song that Golden Earring wrote about people passing away. It was a tribute song for people that passed away, and even in their this concert here, this concert here, uh, before they play "Going for the Run," Barry Hay comes on and says, "This is for Keith Emerson," because Keith Emerson from Emerson, Lake and Palmer had just passed away. So they performed "Going for the Run" in memory of Keith Emerson because that's what the song was about. And then I played it yesterday, and I just thought of George and going, "Well, George is finally going for the run himself."
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm not sure if it's. You can correct me if it's not the right time, but maybe we at some point we should tease before people start logging off. We should maybe tease about we're going to start doing auctions again.
yeah, we should talk about that. I mean, yeah, we're going to be here for a little while longer. I think we're only
Yeah,
how long have we been going for it now, guys? How long have we been going for? I don't even know.
I don't even know either.
It doesn't matter. We're having a good discussion. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Let me just read some of the catch up with comments here. Um, the day we lose McCartney is the day the music died. I don't think that's too far off. And I may be going to see McCartney. Not that I'm a Beatles fan, or I'm a Wings fan more than a Beatles fan. I always have been a Wings fan. But a friend of mine that I go to a lot of with, she contacted me, and she's going with me actually to see Alice Cooper and Judas Priest in September. I've got a meet and greet with Judas Priest. I'm excited about that because I mean I could have gone for the Alice meet and greet, but I've already met Alice like three times, so I opted for the Judas Priest meet and greet. So I'm going to see Alice and Judas Priest. In September. I'm also seeing Hailstorm, Lizzie Hale and Hailstorm with Lindsey Sterling in September. And what was the third concert? I've got a third concert in September. I don't even remember what it is. I have none this summer. But yeah, so she contacted me and said, because I picked up the tickets for the other two concerts. She goes, Anthony, do you want to go see McCartney? I can get us some good seats for McCartney. And I was like, you know what? Why not? He's not going to be he's not going to be around much longer. Let's be real. So I'm probably going to be seeing McCartney here in Hamilton in November, which will be interesting.
Hamilton.
Yeah, McCartney is playing in Hamilton, and I gather a lot of bands are starting to go to Hamilton because Toronto, we have the Rogers Stadium, which was just built for the whatchamacallit, the FIFA Cup next year. So they had to
Yeah,
build a stadium because Toronto doesn't have a stadium that meets the specifications to host a FIFA Cup.
yeah,
So they built this Rogers Stadium. A K-pop band performed there, the first concert ever in the stadium, about 3 weeks ago, I guess it was. And it was an absolute disaster because It's like freaking an hour walk from the subway to the stadium. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. And the parking is a shit show. And people, it was a disaster. The people getting in and getting out, there was not enough staff to manage the number of people at this K-pop concert. It took people forever to get out of the concert. Uh, Waiting for subways was ridiculous because it's at the end of the subway line, and then you got to do this big long walk to where it is. And then, of course, Coldplay were playing there for 4 nights in a row. I wanted to go see Coldplay because I'm a big Coldplay fan, but I was not going to pay $638 regular ticket price for nosebleed seats.
Yeah, crazy.
$638 for a nosebleed seat, regular price? No way, no way. And I'm glad I didn't go because that was 4 days that Coldplay played. The weather was like 40 degrees Celsius with the humidex factored in. I physically wouldn't have survived sitting in a concert with, how many thousand of, 20,000 people standing or sitting in a concert out in the outdoor arena in 40-degree weather, never mind having to walk 2 hours to get out of the place to get back to my car or get into the place. So, but that's one place they're doing concerts now. But the two main places we do concerts in Toronto are Scotiabank Arena and the Sky Dome, which is called the Rogers Center now. It's Sky Dome to me. And they're, of course, in downtown Toronto. And downtown Toronto is a shit show now for traffic. They've got so many streets closed because of major construction that a lot of bands, and this is the reason why McCartney is playing in Hamilton, is because they can't get their equipment to the arenas in downtown Toronto. The traffic is so bad. I don't even go to downtown Toronto anymore. The only time I ever go is for a concert. And for example, I went to Elimination Chamber, WW Elimination Chamber in the Rogers Center this year, and it took us 3 hours to get out just to get out of the parking lot and get down the street and get out of it took as long as the freaking elimination chamber just to get a block away from the place.
That's insane.
So, and that is why McCartney apparently is going to Hamilton, is because bands are opting to perform outside of Toronto now because downtown Toronto is a shit show. When you got a whole bunch of semi trailers that you got to navigate into downtown Toronto to bring equipment, they can't do it. They just can't get in. They can't, it's just a shit show. And so that's why McCartney's going to Hamilton.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So,
Traffic. Toronto has been rated as having the worst traffic in the world right now. It is in the top 10 worst traffic cities in the world right
I
now.
mean,
It's so bad.
it's shitty at the best of times. But um, anyway, so although yeah, we're not ending the this live stream anytime soon here, but just for people
Uh,
who are watching,
yeah, we're
um,
not Cops Call. No, it's not actually even Cops Coliseum. It's some other freaking. I don't even remember what the venue is. It's not Cops Coliseum. It's some other venue, as far as I know. Or they've renamed the venue or something. My friend's getting the tickets, so I'm just going. I've seen McCartney. I saw Wings, and when I saw Wings Over America tour, I still have my probably have my ticket right here. Here's my trusty ticket book of all my concerts. Many, many, many concerts. People, I've shown this many times on stream. Oh, there they all go. Many times on stream. It's so full. But if we go here, let me find it. Boston. Where are we? Wings Over America. There we go. 1976. May 9th, 1976. Where's the camera? There you go. Wings Over America. May 9th, 1976. Nosebleed seats. That cost me a grand total of $7.50 to go see Wings Over America. $7.50 to see Paul McCartney and Wings.
yeah,
Those days are long gone.
oh yes,
My first ever concert, and I've shown this before, guys. My first ever concert was Alice Cooper. As everybody knows, I'm a huge Alice fan. Alice Cooper, December 14th, 1973, the Billion Dollar Babies tour. That was my first ever concert at a wee age of 14 years old.
Jeez.
Alice Cooper, Billion Dollar Babies for a grand, and these were green, so these were decent seats at Maple Leaf Gardens, for a grand total of $5.50. Whatever. Can we have concerts for $5.50 again, please, people?
Yeah,
Can
please.
we, please? I mean, most of these bands that are coming now, they don't need the money. These legends don't need the money. Why they're charging these ridiculous prices is beyond me. They don't need the money. Okay, let's go back to the comments and then we'll talk about the auction as well. Um, comments. So that's the AG gave you see McCartney. There you go. Yes. Cops Coliseum has been remodeled, renovated. McCartney is opening up the venue. Okay, so it is Cops. It's opening up the venue. I think it's called TD. I don't know. I know it's some. I didn't realize that is Cops Coliseum. I saw Alice Cooper at Cops Coliseum in 1985. The Nightmare Returns tour. I saw that there. Philosophical Sound says I went to Coldplay in Toronto at the new place. Oh, you went. You went. So you went to the one that last week or whenever it was. Like I really wanted to go. I've seen every Coldplay show in Toronto so far. I skipped that one though because the seats were ridiculous. So he says I went to Coldplay in Toronto at the new place. Terrible. Seeing Oasis there twice soon. Coldplay does I dropped the night before each concert at discount price. I went to the third show for 180. Well, you're lucky that I didn't see the drop, but I don't think I could have survived the heat and the long fucking walk. So maybe next time. Do you remember anything in particular about the Wings Over America concert? I have vague memories of it. I mean, it was, 50 years ago, but yeah, I still remember the concert. I remember the stage setup. I can. It's funny though. It's things I remember the most. I remember was when they did the Beatles set. I don't know why that one sticks in my head, but if I just close my eyes and think of that concert, I can remember when they were singing, doing their set of Beatles songs. AGK, which artist's death do you think is going to have the greatest impact? In what respect? For everybody in the world? Or for me personally? I mean, George had a huge impact on me. Huge impact on me. Mike Peters had an impact on me. Of course, when Phil Lynott died back in '85, that had a huge impact because he was still like fresh. He was just starting his new band, Grand Slam. And it was the day after my birthday when he died, so it really hit me hard then. I remember crying for Phil. But are you talking just in the world, Richard James, in the world? Uh, Everybody in the world? Certainly another Beatle. I don't think Ringo will. Nothing against Ringo. I think Paul McCartney certainly will have a massive effect on the world. I think Mick Jagger probably. Mick Jagger will be up there when he goes. I think that could be a huge, huge deal when Mick goes. Mick or Keith Richards, more so Mick, I think, because we've already lost members of Pink Floyd. We've lost members of a lot of bands. Um, I don't think like Pete Townsend or Roger Daltrey. I don't think they'll have as big of an effect. I would think, in my opinion, I'm going to say Mick Jagger, Paul McCartney, and Mick Jagger will be huge, for sure, for sure. Those
Well,
two
Keith
alone.
Richards. I think Keith Richards will be a big one.
You think Keith will be as well?
I think that'll be a big one. The
Who do you
guy
think?
who's
Well, who do you think will go first, Keith or Keith or here we're placing bets. Who's next, everybody?
all right. I'm
Keith
gonna.
or Keith or Mick? I think Keith has got enough drugs in him to keep going for a while. We
Yeah.
already know Mick has heart problems, right? We already know
Oh,
Mick has
Mick.
heart
Mick
problems.
keeps himself in shape, though. I tell you. So I'll say Keith.
Grab
Not
myself
not
some.
be too morbid.
No, and we're not trying to be morbid or anything, but it's a reality. We all have to, as music lovers of these bands, we all have to start being prepared for these things to happen.
Yeah,
Because, for example, Ozzy, though Ozzy was a shock, it wasn't a surprise to me. George was a bigger shock to me, even though I knew he had a disease that only meant he had a few years left. It really came out of left field. Just
yeah,
because we get so little news about George, haven't really heard anything about him since he contracted the disease. Whereas Ozzy was kind of always in the news. We always knew about Ozzy's pain. We were constantly seeing the struggle that Ozzy was going through. Whereas George was kind of in the sidelines there. He kind of had retired from the spotlight, as you want to say, and was dealing with it sort of privately. So
yeah,
obviously, George hit harder and was much more of a shock to me
yeah,
than Ozzy was. So yeah, David, yeah, why don't you talk about some stuff here, and I can take a break.
Well, I'm just as you're talking about stuff, I'm just kind of going through some records and just
Yeah, you would
remembering
see. I
some.
didn't have time to prepare some a bunch of golden earring stuff, but I can see that you have, so you can maybe talk about some of your
No, I was
favorite
just kind of
albums.
going through and remembering some of my favorite deep cuts. I had the albums out anyways, but just recalling some of my favorite. Well, I think anything other than their two hits is a deep cut to some people, but you were talking about what going to the run.
Going to the Run, which is on,
Well,
I
I was just looking
believe,
at this one
Bloody
as you were talking
Buccaneers,
about
right?
that
Bloody
song.
Buccaneers, Going to the Run.
Yeah, but going to the run was on the. I heard that last night on this one, the
What's that?
'90s collection one.
What's that one?
What's that?
What's that one?
That's that '90s collection.
Is that the one that came out like a year or two ago?
Yeah, it's called their Ultimate '90s collection.
I don't know. Do I have that one? I know I got one that was a '90s collection thing. Let me see. I got it. It should be right here somewhere. Genesis.
It's a
Where's the
good one.
O's? Where's the O's? Golden. Oh, I've got this one. I didn't get that one. I got this one. Or did I? Oh, that's the same one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The '90s
that's
collection. Yeah.
that's the same one. But what's song number one on that album?
Going to the Run.
Going to the Run. So just to fill up some time talking while Anthony's busy, it's um we've been talking for a long time about starting our auctions again, and it's been a while. I mean, I've had some health things going on, and which I've been absent on YouTube a lot because of that. But um, our auctions, they were they were they were getting pretty popular there for a while,
Yes, we did well.
and then
We
we
had
just stopped doing them for whatever reason. But we were talking about starting them back up in September, which sounds like a long time from now, but it really isn't.
no, it
You know,
isn't.
it's almost August. So
Is that something you guys would be down for? A new auction. If we return to auctions, even if you're watching this video in a replay, you can always post in the comments.
yeah,
Uh, Post in the comments if you're watching a replay of this live stream. Are you guys interested in a new David and Anthony auction? I've certainly amassed a pile of records over the last when did we do our last auction? Beginning of last year. So
yeah.
I'm
But
sure we got some great stuff for you guys. If you'd like to do another auction, we
I've
will.
got boxes and boxes since the last auction of stuff that's equal to or better than what I've sold in the past. So
And
I
we
would
always
love.
had good auctions. Everybody was always happy. I only ever had one complaint ever
Oh
from
yeah, we had
anything
that
I
one.
sold. And David knows the complaint we had. That was just somebody that was just looking to complain.
Yeah,
But everybody else was happy with the pricing, the shipping. received their stuff swift and in great condition, and we had nothing but positive feedback. So,
You know, our
uh,
pricing is probably one of the best values of any vinyl auction I've seen. You know, well, I wouldn't say we give stuff away, but it's pretty damn close. But it's
yeah.
just it's obviously everyone knows it's twofold. It makes some people happy, and then also it makes room for us. So I need to make room.
Yeah, I am like I have nowhere to put my records anymore. My bins are all I'm at the point now where they're getting so tight. I
Yeah,
have to push them in, and I got no more room for more bins. I'm full here. I am so freaking full.
yep. In fact, right now I'm burning all my CDs to a music server that I bought just so I could get rid of my CDs because I have no room. So I'm putting them all on this big server.
Now
And
I bought myself some more time in this house. I was originally supposed to sell and leave this house at the beginning of August, which is in like what, a week.
yeah,
But I'm just in the process of remortgaging again. And hopefully, if according to the guy that's doing it for me, I should be able to get another 18 months to 2 years before I uh, have to concern myself with it again. Because I'm trying to hang on to this house, A, because the more I think about it, the less I really want to be in a condo.
yeah.
I love my house. I love having a backyard and and place I can barbecue. And of course, I got a new dog now. She's a sweetheart. I got her in September, and so I just and my daughter's going to university, and she's here. Like now, she's living with me. She moved in April, and she's staying with me until at least September, full time. Because she does go to college outside of university outside of town. She's going to McMaster. If anybody knows the Ontario area, she's going to McMaster, which is in Hamilton. Um, so I didn't see much of her at all last year when because she was going to university, but she may stay here this fall. She's still trying to decide because she now has a part-time job here in where I live, and that she doesn't really want to give it up. And she wants to do, and she's doing great in university. She's got freaking straight A's. She's doing fantastic so far. First year of university, she just killed it. So
Good for her.
yeah, I'm so proud of her. So
Awesome.
proud of her.
So we should
She's going to a concert tomorrow night. I can't remember what concert it is, but she's going to a concert tomorrow night. So yeah, we will resume the auctions in September. I'm thinking late in September at some point, probably maybe around the third week or so of September. We
okay.
will look at an auction if that sounds good to you guys. Dave, why don't you just show some of your fave gold earring albums?
Ooh. I did have them all pulled because I was playing quite a few of them recently, but yeah, let me just fix my camera here. Some of my favorites.
I'm sporting my Golden Earring Live T-shirt tonight, guys.
Well,
Had to dress the part for the show, right? Had to dress the part for the show.
this one, Seven Tears. I came to this one much later. It's one of those albums that I didn't know existed until
It
like
what we are what I was talking about earlier. That's one of those albums that never saw the light of day here in Canada.
yeah.
And when I
So
got it, the first copy I had of that album was the Music on Vinyl album copy. And when I
yeah,
heard it, what's the last song on side A called? I think it's side A.
on side A, what the hell is it now? Give me a second, everyone.
I want to
Oh, I forgot the music on vinyl version has that nice book inside. So last song on side A or first song? Well, the
last
Silver
song.
Ships is the first song.
Last song.
It's Don't Worry.
What's the last song on side B then?
Uh, that's You're Better Off Free.
You're better off free. I couldn't remember if it was the last song on side A or side B. You're better off free. Guys, do yourself a favor. Look up that song on YouTube. I'm sure you can find it and give it a listen. And it has got one of the most amazing guitar solo. It's Freebird it's kind of Golden Earrings Freebird because
Yeah,
it's got the first 2 minutes of the song are have vocals, the last 3 or 4 minutes of the song are just George wailing on guitar. And it's one of the best, one of my favorite, all time favorite guitar solos by Golden Earring. The last half of that song just freaking cooks. Do yourself a favor and listen to Better
Yeah.
Off Free. That's worth the price of that album alone.
And with that aside, and then
I put it in my top 10 favorite Golden Earring songs. Always,
oh yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Um,
And like I said, probably one of the best guitar solos. Like you will realize how huge a talent George was when you listen to that guitar.
I think. Well, I mean, I could talk about Moontan, but I'll let you talk about Moontan. This one
What is
here,
what is
Eight
that one?
Miles High.
8 Miles High. Yeah, I know that is one of your favorite albums of all time for sure.
Look look at they're all doing the proggy flute sight thing on the back, but I I love this album, and I think their version, like all of side two, the side two is just 8 Miles High. Was it how long is that version? 18 minutes or something
18
like
minutes
that.
or something. It's a
It's
very sight
crazy.
version.
Yeah, and these are albums like this one's from Holland. But these are albums like when I went to Prague and when I went to a lot of other cities that that's how I got these albums. Is you know these
Yeah,
aren't these,
and if you did you get the you got the CD, the remastered CD of 8 Miles High, right? With the
yeah,
bonus material.
yeah,
If you read the booklet in there, the song 8 Miles High that's on there, that's 18 minutes. It was recorded in one take, and it was actually 45 minutes long that they actually had to cut down to 18 minutes.
yeah.
Because apparently Golden Earring would perform that 8 Miles High in concerts at that time or when that album came out. They were doing 45-minute jam sessions of that song live. And I've actually seen one of the video films of it, like our old black and white it's on YouTube, them performing 8 Miles High for 45 minutes. It's just insanity. It
I mean,
really is. I
that
mean,
might sound.
it had like a 15-minute freaking drum solo in it alone. It was insane.
I mean, that might sound boring to some people, but that's heaven to me. The 45-minute version of
It
Eight
doesn't,
Miles
yeah,
High.
and it's not boring. It is actually, it is actually really just a freaking great jam.
I
It
mean,
really is.
what's kind of odd is I discovered because of my age, I discovered the band because of Twilight Zone, obviously.
Hmm.
But I kept on. I like when I was that age when that came out. I had satellite TV, which was kind of a rarity back then. So I would get these crazy American channels that would play things that MTV didn't, and so there's the subsequent singles from Cut I saw and heard, and then I found this in um this copy in a delete bin in
And what is that one?
A&A. This is
What is it?
NEWS,
Oh, NEWS, Northeast, West, and South.
but I found
News.
this in a if anyone remembers cutout bins or delete bins, I found this in a delete bin. It was either Mr. Sound or A&A, and that's if you didn't have a lot of money, the delete bins were insanely awesome. And I bought this one, and this is the album, although it's not as highly regarded as some. This is the album that made me a fan. Is NEWS. It's got Clear Night Moonlight, When the Lady Smiles, Mission Impossible, which is kind of like um, Twilight Zone Part Two.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love Mission Impossible. It's one of
I
that's
love that
another of my
song.
that's another one in my top 10 Golden Earring songs is Mission Impossible for
Yep,
sure.
one of those deep cuts, which is just as good as any single they did. So, but if anyone remembers delete bins, so many bands that I love, I came across because of the delete bin. You know, you could get a tape for
Absolutely.
you get a tape for 298 or something, or a record for 399. You know, and you discover sometimes you didn't, sometimes you struck out, but a lot of times you discovered some great albums, and that's how I discovered that one. That very copy.
And right here this is record store day 2025. This is from this record store day.
Yeah, that's the
This is NEWS, but this is the sessions. And what
outtakes.
this is a compliment to the album that David was holding. This came out this record store day. It is a 2 LP set, and it goes into you get the whole history of the News album in
Yeah,
here. But this doesn't have the News album in it. This is all the outtakes, rough mixes, alternate versions, 2 LPs worth of material, and it's all really freaking good. It's all really freaking good. This is all taken from the original master analog tapes,
yeah,
and it's just you've got rough early version of Clear Night Moonlight, early version of When the Lady Smiles, early version of Enough is Enough, rough mix of Fisting Glove, rough mix of News, instrumental mix of I'll Make It All Up to You, early version of Mission Impossible. Then it's got, things like Orwell's Year, which originally was just a B side of a single.
yeah,
Then they've got the 12-inch mixes, the original 12-inch maxi single mixes
yeah.
of When the Lady Smiles, Clear Light Moonlight, Mission Impossible, the 7-inch mix. And they even have the mixes that were used for the music videos as
You
well
re-
with the extra material. So it is fantastic. Highly recommend it.
I don't know if
Uh,
you remember the back. I definitely remember that the video for When the Lady Smiles was banned here. If anyone hasn't seen the uncut version, the uncensored version, that video for that was actually banned here, and I definitely remember that. But that's my number one. Well, actually, I think I said my second favorite song by Golden Earring is When the Lady Smiles.
yeah, and
Um,
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Hillary Clinton was using When the Lady Smiles on her campaign trail when she was campaigning for president.
which is odd because if you see the
Which
video,
is odd, yeah, but that's a fact if you look it up. Yeah, Hillary Clinton was using "When the Lady Smiles" as campaign music.
I mean, they
Go
made some.
figure.
Do you recall the uncensored version of Twilight Zone, which I just saw recently?
Yeah.
Again,
Well, we have all the uncensored versions. If you buy the, is it the cut? Let me just grab it.
yeah, show everyone that one.
I think it's the cut the. Is it cut? I gotta find it here. Hold on. You can pick it up on CD. It's from the remastered series.
Yeah, and it comes with a bonus.
Here it is, cut. I'm pretty sure this is the one with all the Dick Vaz. Yeah, okay. So for those of you that are, if you don't want the vinyl, this is the remaster. Now, like I said, Golden Earring, they found the analog tapes recently. Like in 2023, they found all the analog tapes from Golden Earring's recording sessions. So this contains the remaster of the cut album, and CD2 is the cut session, just like I showed you the new session. So it's all the rough mixes and outtakes, etc. And then the third disc is a DVD. And on the DVD, you have Golden Earring versus Dick Moz. Dick Moz was the director of all of Golden Earring's music videos in the 80s, for the News album, the Cut album, the whole album. For those 3 albums, Dick Moss did their music videos for MTV, which most of them were banned or censored because
Censored. Yeah.
they're mainly because there was a lot of naked ladies running around. That was the main reason. There was a
Well,
lot
there
of very
and when the lady smiles, there's that shot of the dog eating that part of the brain during the
yes,
brain
yeah.
surgery.
Because they had a theme that ran through the videos. The videos told stories,
Yeah,
and they played these characters in these videos. They were like little mini stories.
Yeah.
But this collection here has some music videos for Twilight Zone, and these are the original uncut music videos, and they're all been remastered as well. So Twilight Zone, When the Lady Smiles, Clear Light Moonlight, Turn the World Around, Burning Stuntman, all the original videos for that. So that's a really nice little collection
Oh yeah.
there.
I
And they've been
recommend the
doing this with
CDs.
all their albums recently. I'm just curious what the next one they will be is, because News was the one they just did. So I hope they continue to follow suit and release more of these. And you can get these on CD and vinyl.
I mean, I recommend the CDs just as much as the vinyl, to be honest with you, because the CDs they're releasing,
They
they're
sound
very
brilliant.
they're very
They sound
affordable.
fantastic.
I mean, they're very affordable, first of all, but also the bonus material and DVDs are just insane. And the remastering they've done is so good. And
Yeah, it's fantastic. It
you
really is
really hear how
fantastic
powerful,
remastering.
Cesaro was on drums, and it's they're such a dynamic band.
And one of the other last things they just released, and I don't know if you picked this up yet, David. Have you picked this one up yet? Because I believe there was only 750 copies of this released. So if you
Um,
haven't picked this up yet, and this is the latest one, the first time they've released this one from Music on Vinyl. And this is Barry Hayes' solo album called Victory of Bad Taste. What's it, Victor? Victory of Bad Taste.
oh no,
Barry Hayes.
I haven't picked that one up yet.
You better try to grab one quick because there's only 750 copies of this.
Okay.
And this is just released this year in, I think, March or April of this year. It's the latest release. One of Barry Hay, of course, is the vocalist of Golden Earring and flautist, I guess. And he does play some guitar as well.
Yeah.
And this is a really great spin. This is a really great spin. It's a solo, one of Barry Hay's, I think he's got 4 solo albums, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. First time released since the original release.
Oh, nice.
And I think this one came out originally in '87, and I think this originally came out on CD the first time. So Dave, grab
Speaking of,
this up because there's only 750 copies of this one available.
speaking of Barry Hay, this is one of my favorite albums, not just of Golden Earring, but obviously it's Barry Hay's first solo album he did.
Yes,
This is the
fantastic.
music on vinyl version that came out
I
in.
have that one. Yeah, fantastic album.
This came out 10 years ago, but
Yeah,
Barry
I think
only
they've only
only
pressed it the
parrots,
one
frogs, and
time.
angels. It's so good.
It is.
It was originally released in '72. So it's got a lot of psych influence, some prog influence. It's such a good album. If anyone ever sees it, I mean, originals or forget about it. I could never even get an original, but there, if you ever see the reissue on Music on Vinyl, it's such a good record. You can just tell by looking at the album what it is. It's kind of psyche, kind of, some prog stuff in there. Looks very good, but sounds awesome. I love this album so much. Mine is number 504. I can't remember. And
What is
this was
mine?
one of my first music on vinyl, and it's one of the rare ones where I didn't keep the music on vinyl bag and sticker. So which now I'll show it, like music on vinyl have all, doesn't matter, just not just Golden Earring, but they have these stickers they put on their albums, which tell you it's limited to this, and this, and
Yours is number 504.
yeah.
Mine is number 269.
Look at you. But I was just saying how that's the only music on vinyl album that I have, and I have like probably 100 music on vinyl records
And
of all bands, and
this
it's
one
the only
came
one I
out.
didn't keep the sticker of.
Did you got this one, right, David? You got this one?
Yes.
Yeah, this is another good one. This is Barry's latest studio effort. It's Barry Hayes and JB Meisers.
Yeah.
And it's For You Baby. And this one also is a limited. How many were pressed of this? 1,000 copies. I got number 476. And in this album, he is doing covers
Yeah.
Covers of some great songs like "If Not for You," the Bob Dylan song that Olivia Newton-John made famous.
Yeah.
"If Not for You," "Heartbeat City" by the Cars,
Yeah.
"Sweet Jane," Benny and the Jets, "Walking in Memphis," "King's Call," Phil Lynott, Thin Lizzy, "King's Call," "I'm on Fire," and some other stuff, "Blue Bayou." Quite a few songs on here. It's all covers and they're really good. And speaking of George Coymans, who passed away on Tuesday, this was remastered and released in December. And unfortunately, that so far they've only released it on CD. I hope it gets a vinyl pressing. It's only been released on CD so far. This came out in December. This is George Clement's first solo album, JoJo. Because George Coyman's only made 3 solo albums, one in the 80s, the newer one with Frank Carrillo. This is the original first album by George Coyman's, JoJo. And it has been remastered by Music on Vinyl, Red Bullet,
What do you
and
think of
released.
that album?
I like it. It's kind of a mixed bag of music, but there's some really great tracks on it.
Yeah, yeah.
But there you go. As you can see, JoJo Remastered. It says right on it, JoJo Remastered.
It's
This
definitely a varied album.
Yeah, he kind of experiments all over the place on the album, but there's some really great tracks on it. So this came out on CD in December. The remaster. It has a nice booklet that comes with it that talks about the whole album and everything. So I hope it gets pressed to vinyl, just to be nice to have it on vinyl as well. But there's George. There's a young George right there.
Look at that. Yeah. So
Fantastic stuff.
we've been on for an hour and a half, and
Have we
I
already really been on for 90 minutes? Have we,
yeah,
guys? Have we been on 90 minutes?
I'm gonna have to leave sometime soon because of our
Yes, I will
time
too, because
difference
I gotta
between
have
you and
dinner.
I. I haven't had a chance to eat or anything tonight because I kind of came on here almost just from work.
But then
So
we wanted to do something just to talk about Ozzy and especially George for us, and some of the other greats that have passed, and just to have a nice, just kind of in the round discussion rather than doing a video going here, this golden earring album, this golden earring album, this golden earring album. I miss George. George died. Blah blah blah. I just wanted to have like a heartfelt discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Those that are watching it on replay.
yeah, it's
Uh,
something not scripted, just something off the top of your
exactly from the
heads, how
heart.
you really feel. You
And the
know,
last few comments from you guys here. I've been enjoying the conversation, and it's great to see Anthony and David back. I might have to dive into the Golden Earring records. You've got me interested. I only know a couple of their hits. Yep, there you go. That's what we kind of hoped we would inspire in this discussion today.
you know what I would
And
say
this,
quickly. I would say, Anthony, really quickly. I'd say if you don't know them, go for Moontan first because it's not just because of Radar Love. Every song on that record is absolute classic.
exactly. There you
Go
go.
for
That's the
Moontan and
original
then
Moontan cover right
work
there.
your way out from that. Yeah,
Work your way out from Moontan. Moontan is just, it's legendary.
I mean, it's got
It's a
Radar
must
Love,
have.
but it's got every song on it is as good as Radar Love to me.
Yeah, like it's one of those records. Like if you're a music listener and love 70s stuff, there's certain records, in my opinion, that should be in every single person's record collection, and that's things like Abbey Road, Who's Next, Dark Side of the Moon, Moontan. These are the sort of albums. It's, to me, in my opinion, it's a record that is a must-have in every record collection. It really, truly is.
But obviously, people in Canada and maybe America might know that this isn't the cover that we have here. It's the cover. It's the
With the
ear,
stupid ear on it.
the close up of the ear. But look for that one. If you can get one that has all the tracks that were on it, not unedited, go. Try to get one of those.
Yeah,
Like
or this
one
one
of
here,
these.
which is the remaster, which includes all the both the American version and Europe versions of the album, plus all
Yes.
the B sides of the singles and outtakes. This is a 2 LP. If you can still grab this one, from Music on Vinyl. Highly
Go for that
recommend it.
because it's got they have different mixes, like not mixes as in outtakes, but America had a different mix than Europe. Like
Exactly.
I think they remixed it for our back then for the North American market or something like that, like they did for a lot of albums. But the one Anthony just showed you, go for that one. That's it. It has all the songs.
And it should still be, you should be able to still grab a copy of it
Yeah, it's
somewhere.
still in print, and I will say honestly that I promise you, you will not be disappointed. It's such a great album.
And from Shits and Giggles, hey guys, great stuff. Just popped in. Hey guys, I have Seals and Croft stuff too. Whole stack of 45s revealing our ages. I've saved my record players. And Nick says, gotcha. I'll check out. I'm going to check out their psych stuff too. Yeah, if you want their psych stuff, definitely look at their earlier albums like 8 Miles High. On the Double. On the Double is a 2 LP. They called it On the Double because they decided on their fourth only album to do a double LP studio album. And it's just it's psych, 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 way through psych.
I'm going to recommend this one,
Walls and Dolls?
Wall of Dolls.
Wall and
It's got
Dolls.
the best of both worlds on this one. But
It's
it's not
actually
psycho.
it's actually their self-titled album, Golden Earring, but within the Golden Earring community, they call it the Wall of Dolls because the photograph of it is a real wall somewhere in the Netherlands of dolls.
But Seven Tears is a good one as well too.
Just saw Buckingham Nicks is being reissued.
Yeah, I almost pre-ordered that, but then I realized that I have an original US pressing and I have an original Canadian pressing and I have an original 8-track which is tape, so it sounds really good. I don't know if I need to pay that much money for the Buckingham Nicks reissue. Like I love that record. I have the single, I have the 45s that came out for that, Crying in the Night and all that. And I just can't bring myself to if they did a 5.1 mix of that or something like that, yeah, but I don't like I'm excited that it's coming out, but also it's like I'd rather spend my money elsewhere. I don't know if you're buying that record or not, Anthony.
Which
They're
the
reissue.
Buckingham Nicks?
Yeah, the reissue coming out first time.
No, because I picked up the last reissue that came out, and it's kind of good enough for me. I mean, I like that album. There's one song I really, really like on it, but the rest of it is kind of all over the place for me. But I have a decent reissue from a few years ago. That's
I
good
love
enough.
the whole album, but the album that came out in Canada on Quality Records. It's that version is that's 10 times better than the American Polydor version. The version released in Canada on Quality, it's so much better. And if you got a clean copy of that, you're good. You don't need to spend the $70 or whatever on the repress. But I
Yeah,
mean,
because records are getting expensive now.
I have to watch what I'm buying for, like I've been, by the way, everyone, I don't know if anyone out there watches my vinyl haul videos. I think the last one I did was from London, but I've had some insane thrift store hauls lately so, I mean, thank God, because the reason why I bring that up is because of new record pricing. If it wasn't for the used records I've been finding, I'd be fucked because I can't new vinyl. Like, holy shit. It's getting every year it's creeping up to $60 and
Yeah, I'm a little more picky. I'm pickier and pickier with what I buy in the way of new vinyl now. I
like
really am.
60, $70 for a single record. That's insane. Like,
I don't even remember what I paid for the two I'm about to show. These I show you. I pre-ordered these from the Alice Cooper website, and it arrived this afternoon in my front door. I had to sign for it. It is the brand new Alice Cooper
the reunion
Revenge.
album.
Revenge of Alice Cooper with the original band back together for the
I'm
first
excited for that.
time. And if you there's check it out on YouTube. They did on the Alice Cooper YouTube. They play the whole album. There's an album whatever you call it first play thing, album listening party, and then they interview the band for 40 minutes, the entire band. It follows with an interview with Bob Ezrin and Alice Cooper, Mike Bruce. Everybody's there. This they have brought this is the album that's been 50 years in the making. This album has been 50 years in the making. They haven't lost a step. If you're looking for original old school Alice Cooper, this follows Billion Dollar Babies. This is the next
That's
step
the
in the
best
lane.
stuff he ever did.
It is fantastic. I got the limited edition on the yellow vinyl thingy
You know,
of
Anthony,
the album. 2 LP, 45 RPM cut. And because I bought it from the Alice Cooper website, I also got this in the package. And this is the CD version, which includes the new album CD Digipack, an exclusive 7-inch single with 2 special bonus tracks, um, exclusive art print, and exclusive Alice Cooper album T-shirt.
nice.
So I got this as
What's
well
going to
because
happen
everybody
when he
knows
goes?
I'm a big Alice Cooper fan. So
Anthony,
excited.
what's going to happen when he goes? I think
Pardon?
both of us will be devastated.
Well, and when Alice goes, for me, I mean George is big, but Alice for me will probably even be bigger because I mean Alice is the first concert I ever went to. I discovered Alice before Golden Earring, so
I know you're a
Alice
massive
for
Alice. Yeah.
Alice for me will probably be of all my artists in my lifetime. This will be the one that hurts the most. George definitely hurt big time. Anybody from Golden Earring, Barry, George, but they're a band, sort of, kind of, you know what I mean? They're a band. So
Yeah.
anybody going from Golden Earring, yeah, it guts me. But Alice is Alice. I mean, Alice is Alice. I've seen Alice so many times in my life. I've met him 3 times.
You know
So
what?
I mean, this
Um,
one will kill me. This one will
l-
kill me.
Let me ask you a question. That Alice Cooper documentary that came out a few years ago. Um, don't you think there hasn't been a complete documentary on Alice Cooper? Because that documentary stops kind of like when he goes into rehab and
Yeah,
he
there
gets.
needs to be a kind of a. I mean, he's done a lot of interviews and stuff, but it would be nice to see a complete retrospective of his
That's
body
the
of
uh,
work.
that's the super duper Alice Cooper, right? It's called super,
Yeah,
but
something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it stops before Constrictor, and not that those albums are great, but there's so much more story to tell after that. That I'm sure a better version could have been made with the same running time that kind of encompasses everything and doesn't just focus on his alcoholism, which that
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, it kind of stops there and leaves everybody wondering, like,
it's kind of the obvious thing. They did the obvious thing. They covered the alcohol and addiction part of it to death, and they had such a good opportunity to make the definitive Alice Cooper story, and it just falls so short. Like I was really disappointed with that one.
somebody was
But
asking if I picked up the Rhino version of Love It to Death. No, I might get it, but I picked up the last pressing of Love It to Death. This one right here. This was the previous remaster reissue thing from the mid, I think around 2017 or so. This was that remaster, the Joe whatever his name is remaster, and it was released with the original green label, and it was released on this white and white and black splatter a thing with the original album artwork. But I haven't heard the. I'm considering the Rhino remaster. Will it be much better than this? I don't know. But I did pick up the Muscle of Love remaster, and it is really freaking good. With the second disc of material, that one, which you can only get that one from the Alice Cooper website. That one is highly, highly, highly recommend that one. Did you see? Let's see. For the last
actually, I
few
was
things
gonna.
here, but
I
before we
better stop.
go,
If I pull all my Alice Cooper stuff, I'm gonna be on here forever. Sorry.
oh, me too, me too. I've got more Allison, Golden Earring and Alice in my collection than you guys won't even. We would be here for hours. But let me just read the last few comments
Yeah,
here.
sorry.
LOB for sure. Um, let's see. 8 tracks sound different. Last record I bought was Kiss Alive Symphony, OG press, still sealed. And then, did you either of you get the Rhino Love It to Death? I picked it up, going to compare it to my original. I saw Alice Cooper 10 years ago, paid $10 a ticket to see him. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Someone delivered frequencies in certain, someone delivered the frequencies in certain songs. I'm not sure what that means. Frequencies were involved, just like the concert, Travis Scott. Da, 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 da. Okay, just catching up.
So, anyways, just to wrap it up. So I was just showing my Rocktober version of Love It to Death with the blue, black and white vinyl, but um, I do have to get going because, like I said, I
Same
came on
thing.
here almost straight away from work, whereas Anthony is 2 hours ahead of me. But
Yeah,
if
dinner
you're
time
wa-
for me. Yeah, dinner time.
if
Late
if you're
dinner.
watch if you're watching this live or you're watching this on replay, thank you very much. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate Anthony's time and Anthony's friendship, because I actually have someone to talk about Golden Earring with. And thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for our final auctions coming up. But that's not what this is about. Thank
Yeah,
you for.
we'll post a little video sometime in mid-September, I guess, something like that, as to when the date is. And if you guys are down for auction, we'll try to do a auction in September, October, November, December kind of thing.
But I
Uh,
appreciate the time. Kind of talking about George and kind of talking through it. It's been it's been heavy. So it's been nice to talk about it, because I don't have anyone to talk about it really with, other
exactly.
than
Yeah.
Anthony and the whole wide world out there now who's watching this. But thank you. I appreciate it. I
And
appreciate the
thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you. It was good to talk about it. The best way to heal from these things is to, like, group hug, talk about it, get your feelings out about these sort of things, because they are monumental events in our lifetime.
I mean, if
So,
if it wasn't for the vinyl community at large that we talk to, I would have no one to talk about this kind of like a lot. I have friends who, we share certain bands and commonalities we like, but for a lot of these bands that kind of like you and I like, there's no one to talk about it with other than each other. So it's good to talk about this and get it all out. And, 'cause no
exactly.
one really
Exactly.
knows. People think that, oh, okay, well, George from Golden Earring died, big deal. But that's a huge deal for me, because that was a
Yeah, just
massive,
like some of you watching this video right now, probably Ozzy was a huge deal to you.
yeah.
Obviously, was a big deal to me, but George was bigger. George really was a punch to the chest for me. It was a fist
Gol-
punch.
Golden Earring, honestly, Golden Earring is such a big chunk of my younger life, between when I was
Same,
getting into music
same.
between age 12 and 14, 15. That was, they were such a big part of my life. So
Oh
thank you
yeah,
for allowing me to talk about it.
when I look at my 3,500 records, according to my Discogs current count, there is no band in my 3,500 records that I have played more than Golden Earring.
Yeah.
Alice and Golden Earring, but Golden Earring probably even more than Alice, for sure.
So that's awesome. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, everybody. Hope you
Go
guys
for
have
my
a
blood.
fantastic weekend. We'll be back in September for an auction. Thanks for
Yes. So
hanging out.
thank
And
you.
if you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. We truly appreciate it. Uh, as David always says, how do you end your videos?
Yeah. How do I end my videos?
How do you end your videos?
It's been so long,
I
but
know you go peace, don't you? Peace,
peace.
peace, and I go rock and roll. Bye,
Peace.
everybody. Take
All right.
care. Goodbye.
See you later.
Goodbye,
Bye bye.
everybody. Rock and roll.